sure either why. Oh wait, we have to get the pen tool up. Not Epic Game, Epic Pen. Set up. Damn it! Stop. Pause. I'm not sure why they're running this in 720. Just makes everything look bad, but that's just how it is, I guess. Okay, so got everything running, right? Yeah, perfect. Pretty straightforward plane, allowing for everyone to go where they want. Habu going there, Singularity going melee, Penta doing their split. Ooh, oh yeah, that's because yeah. So Frescoes managed to take control of Jinky because there's no contesting. 3D Max them making their way west. Where's NIP? It's so confusing that all these teams have random as fuck colors all the time. The G2 are going up north. Am I blind? Where's NIP? Oh, there they are. They're green for some reason. Okay, makes sense. Yeah, they're on the bridge. So, hey Taylor, how are you doing, buddy? Great comes in. It's kind of interesting, right? Because as soon as we don't have knights, they played Bravo yesterday. As soon as we don't have knights in the lobby, a team takes control of this. I mean, it just pushes everything around. Because Elgiganten, they come over and take control of the mansion area. And the guys from Loot Goblins who had been having a hard time finding their places to loot last week, because Elgiganten went east, they've got all the room in the world on the west side. So kind of interesting to see how that impacts. Like you say, oh, it's just one team out, doesn't really matter. It actually has quite a big of impact. So noticeable areas open. Nobo. That's pretty much it, honestly. Sarky, but who cares? The Puvka. Everything else is actually really spread. Impressive that they, in first game of the week, managed to avoid each other to such an extent. That's pretty impressive. Oh, Milta is open. Yeah, true. Because we have Moonwolf and Bravo. We have... Yeah, we had both Moonwolf, Vitality, and Bravo. I know Vitality doesn't really go Milta anymore. But Vitality and Bravo, Moonwolf and Bravo. Who else goes Bravo? That... Oh, who else goes Milta? That was there. 3D Max I've seen in Milta before, but I mean, they're going North George, and why wouldn't they? They're up here right now. Huh. Interesting. Reckoning goes Milta? They didn't do that yesterday. I saw you in a game earlier today, Feverish, then I got killed. So, that was unfortunate. Not by you, though. Oh, okay. Well, I mean, the places I've seen Reckoning go more often than not is like split around Yellows, Watertown. If they can, they'll send Haxedi up to Rosok, but it's not always available, and then they'll take the two compounds down here. Try and sometimes go a bit further west, but this is like at least normally the area I'd see them go in. Yeah, exactly, around that area, depending on what's open. So Elgiganten all rotating center. That's interesting. I'm wondering where Savage will go. Will they all commit to the one same compound, or will they keep Savage at Backflip, or maybe down here somewhere else? Or are they all going for the one same compound? Normally in the early stages you'd see teams split up more to take more control, so you have more options when the circle comes in. Also, this is kind of interesting, honestly, because one thing is that we don't have knights in the group, but knights, if they, especially if knights get the circle, they are not in a hurry to find a position to go. they would still be running around like with their split, however they decide to do it, and loot up right now. So for teams that are trying to push on into the circle, look at how much room they have. I mean, on the southern side, because Knights ain't here and Elgigant, they like to rotate earlier, so they all push over center. This is gonna be pretty interesting. You have everything up for grabs on the eastern side of the circle. For the western side, though, it's gonna be interesting because all the teams that want to push up over Potato, I mean, we still have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, potentially 7 teams that have to make their way in and across somehow, depending on, of course, how Singularity decide to do, like what bridge they take. Hey, Asa, nice to see you, buddy. Nate Jones, I didn't see you there either. Fighting against them a few times in school apartments. Yeah, exactly. They would just go anywhere in this area, take what's open. At least that's how I've seen them do so far. If you want to continue to watch, this was the preview. Like, you know how you watch a movie, you're like, oh my god, I found it for free. And then you watch like the first 6 minutes. If you want to continue watching, please subscribe to my channel. Fuck no. I'm all about community benefits. Benefits, I don't know, you know what I'm trying to say. But all about supporting the community in that sense. I'm not gonna be charging anything. Support is appreciated, but by no means necessary. Base, no surprises in their rotation. They really have to fix this. I've tried to tell them, but I guess that's not the focus point right now. NIP take out one of the guys from G2. It's just, why is NIP green and why are FaZe? I guess that color actually kind of fits. So some of the teams have colors that fit. Penta pink. Elgiganten's gray. Why wouldn't they be green and then NIP could be gray? I mean, it's just those small things. And also team logos and stuff. I like this overlay. I like the fact that we have a map stream, but you cannot see the kill feed. And there's just some small things. Like, it's just small tweaks that could be done in the matter of a half hour. 10 minutes even, if you're the one that has set all this up. Just a matter of doing it. But of course, plenty of things to focus on at the same time. Now, Circle comes on in. 3DMX on the northern side. Phantom actually rotating by himself. The entire team haven't even pulled out of North George yet. Habu, they're trying to rotate on in. I'm not sure exactly what loot couplings. Well, I guess they're living up to their name. Looting still as predicted, or assumed at least. Looks like the guys from Singularity will take Westbridge rather than East. It's just a much safer rotation. First of all, you don't have any city that you can be running straight into. Second of all, when you do get across, we talked about it last time too. Even if you do take fire, there are so many ways you can avoid confrontation. You can drive up over the hill, you can go around the right side. Whereas when you come over this bridge, if there's a team sitting in all honesty, I personally think, and guys out there, correct me if you think I'm wrong, I think it's much easier to scout on forward and ahead on the east bridge than it is on the west bridge. What you could do is just, like, of course, you sit down here, look over. If there's nobody sitting at gas station, because you can see like underneath, so you can see the wheels of the cars and all that stuff. If you don't see anyone gas station and you somehow manage to clear the right side dip as well, and you push up there, then you can scout further forward. I mean, it's just, whereas on the right side, you kind of just have to commit to it because you cannot really scout glass house and you cannot really scout gas station either. So it's kind of tricky to really predict anything on the west bridge. But again, I mean, it's just when you do cross over, if you do take fire, it's so much easier to escape. Whereas to here, you have to flip your car off the left side down the hill and it might roll over, you might get knocked, whatever. There's a field here with hay bales and stupid shit, and alternatively you have to jump in the water. So of course it's much easier to get a safe rotation around the west side. Yeah, exactly. So Habu, they're making their way in, took a little bit of damage, but nothing essential. Teams fighting inside the circle. Looks like G2 will go to the old Alamo, I guess you can say. Hey Critzy, how are you doing, buddy? Liquid decides to split half the team up in the one story on the, what do you say, on the turn, and then you still have Ibiza and Samty inside the city. That's kind of interesting. Hey Cap, how are you doing? Penta rotate all the way underneath. I like that rotation actually. They just do it smart. They come up where Havu is now. Then they scout forward. They also scouted the what do you say? The compound down here. They come up, scout. Next step, scout. Next step, scout. And as we talked about, because the guys from Elgiganten decided to push out, and well, now they're split. They have a guy sitting in Wizard. Not sure that's... I mean, okay. So when you have an entire... When you're looting, most importantly, when you're looting this area of the map, and the circle favors you, of course, it's not centered down here, but you're still... I mean, everything you're doing is in. And you can pretty much pick everything you want. Personal opinion, again. I would not have a guy sitting in a wizard tower. Just because, I mean, there are like 10 billions positions that are better than that wizard tower. I understand that they want to split and they want to take control, but now they've lost some of the key positions in the circle. That's kind of interesting. But no, smart push from Penta. They come underneath, take control. Let's see where the next circle goes. Oh, it actually goes down towards Jasfield. Nice. And again, I didn't see any of the games yesterday, so I don't know anything of what happened, really. Bruxel and Isakoboros, they try to push down south here. I cannot see who that is. Pink team. Who is Team Pink? Something with an S. Oh, that's legit default. Ah, okay. So they're fighting them here. Everybody's rotating on in. Liquid trying to make their way to backflip alongside 3 other teams. That's going to be chaotic. Somehow they both manage to get out of there alive. As I say that, teams goes down. That's unfortunate. Now they try to push up to yellows, and they're just too late on that rotation. They are just too late. So I believe it's only Ibiza and Samty now who's alive. Because you have the entirety of Frescoes in yellows, and you have all of Penta in backflip. Or heaven, whatever you want to call it. Yeah, they just came down too late. Simply too many people coming in from the south that they had to deal with. But it's hard for them though, because the plane came, I believe the first plane came from north, like down over Primorsk. So they had to jump out early. Well, Liquid did jump out early, obviously taking control of Yasnaya. So they don't get the info on how many teams are further, like far down south. But had they known that, they probably would not have committed that. I mean, they were sitting on the north, like they were sitting here, and on the eastern side, I think, of Yasnaya. And they rotated out in vehicles trying to go down towards backflip. That's a late rotation. I don't know. I probably just wouldn't go that far center in this circle. But let's see. Guys from legit default decide to go east. They're also just going to be met with not finding a place to settle. I mean, mansion's open, forest's open. You have warehouse, you have the compound down here, and you have all the small dips down here as well you can play. But everything that's center is pretty much taken already. So for Singularity, smart rotation going all the way over Cube Bridge, doesn't want to contest anything. Now they'll have to figure out how they want to enter the circle. They could probably cross here, just because this is inside the circle. It's going to be a bit scary, if you know what I mean. Yeah, I'm not sure. I mean, I think they just thought that they had more room to rotate. I mean, they were rotating once the circle popped, but there were so many teams on the southern side already that they pretty much had no place to go there. Wait, give me 1 sec. Where's my alert box thingy? There. Alright. There you go. And thanks for the follow, Luke. So... this is just so fun, right? When you see this type of circle, 16 teams still alive. I cannot see the player count, but probably 50 something. Entirety of Yasnaya is open. You got Rustenmar team 1 sitting out in police station, but still, it's just so funny. And I understand why people don't want to sit in cities. It's just when you look at it, like compounds, nothing's available. Boom, big city, everything's open. It's kind of interesting. Now circle's gonna start closing on in. And this is gonna be interesting. Ooh, okay, so we go east now. What would these teams do? Especially we have, what do we have? 1, 2, we got 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 teams out of 16 that are outside the circle. The guys in the north, they should have a pretty easy push down. They can go down here and then they can scout further forward. They can sit themselves up on the hilltop before the circle closes in. Maybe scout down towards the compound, realize it's taken. Hey, Dofus. And for the guys on the south, they got plenty of room to rotate around on the south now. But main issue being, for the guys on the back to scout forward, they will see that what's the name? Loot goblins are sitting here, so they cannot push down before loot goblins. So I mean, everything in the southern rotation here depends on when loot goblins decide to go, because you cannot just rotate through them. I mean, teams probably would do that anyway, but some teams would. I mean, you cannot just rotate on through. So it's gonna be interesting to see when they'll go, as opposed to how much room they'll have to work with. So you can crash around, go into forest. You can take mansion. You can take L. It's in as well, or J. I don't know what people call it. I feel like most people call these type of. There's also one down here, call them L, but I don't know. You know what I mean? Some teams, like the really late teams, for example, Morpheus and Isagoboros, either they have to go over, like over the bridge and around, maybe under and over, or they might just want to commit to the edge buildings in Yasnaya. We'll have to. Yeah, exactly. J and L. I don't know. It's the same. So G2, as expected, they want to go south. Fortunately, the guys from Loot Goblins are already moving, so they're going to be coming in right before them. A lot of teams, as predicted, gonna opt to sit on the edge of Yasnaya. Nobody wants to go dead center. Singularity, they go around north. Loot Goblins probably going into forest, or maybe all the way up to L, which I write opposite, I know. But that's just how it is. A lot of teams fighting. We can't see any of it because it's 720 and it's not zoomed in. So that's just what it is. Thank you, Mr. Cameraman. And this is what I wanted to say. If Loot Goblins can get a big enough jump on G2, they'll get out of their vehicles and they'll have, most importantly, they'll have their vehicles stopped, which means that their sound from their own vehicles won't muffle the sound coming in from G2's vehicles. They'll get out, they'll stop, they'll turn around, they could take down potentially all of G2, because they're driving with such a spread in between them that you can easily spray down, reload, spray down. That's why normally you see, like when you have vehicle rotations, people actually tend to not drive on top of each other, obviously, but somewhat close, because then the guys that are standing and shooting will have to figure out, are we going to shoot at the first one? Are we going to just spray at everything? Are we like, how can you do this? So, word of advice, when you're doing these somewhat YOLO-ish long rotations and you do run into people, it's actually smarter to be not, again, completely on top of each other, but somewhat close instead of rotating with too much of a distance in between you. Because odds are that that they won't, like, it's gonna be, they won't be like 3 shots there, 3 shots there. They'll try to focus on everything and then they'll get screwed over because of it. So let's see what happens. G2 go all the way around. Now they start shooting. There you go, Steven taking 1 bullet and again shooting. Wacko spins out. Should be able to continue forward though. Looks like Siphon died earlier on. Yep, he did. I think it was NIP that took up one of their players. So Diamond Dogs, they pushed down as expected. Habu, they have to make their way in, but they have to dip here they can sit on. They're only really threat because there's a bit of a ridge line here on this side, so you cannot really be seen from yellows. The only real threat is gonna be Penta, because they can see them from backflip, but we'll have to wait and see what happens. As long as this next circle doesn't go into the city, then I'm glad. Because that would be shit. So the silence before the storm, this is kind of what you get. I mean, you always get the same type scenarios here. You everybody has found, not necessarily the place they would love to be in, but found their way in. The people that were going to die have been killed off. And well, I mean, it's just, yeah, chaos is gonna happen whether we go inside the city or not. Because if we go outside the city, for the 1, 2, 3, 4, potentially 5 teams inside the city, they'll have to figure out where to go. And now we actually do go, well, somewhat out, but for the most part we do. Fortunately, you cannot see it on the map though, but for those of you guys who don't know, there is a big forest here. It actually goes further. I believe it goes all the way over here. There's a big forest here that you could probably fit 3 teams in there without them necessarily fighting each other. So you would assume to see, for example, now Locksnow and Diamond Dogs. They will have to go all the way around, then to realize that L is taken already. And by the time that they come down here, this is a big flat open field. By the time that they come down here, there's really nothing else they can do than just try and just send it straight into the forest. This is, if they go this way, it's gonna be real tricky. I honestly do not quite know where they can go in this circle. Oh, and as I say that, 3D Max, they go away. Simsy should have spotted that, and now the rotation's coming. Yeah, smart play, smart play. They'll be able to sit on the edge. Ilgiganten gets themselves 1. More people getting killed. G2 trying to fight off the guys from Loot Goblins. Dofus, what are you writing? Oh. Aha. Okay, I was not aware of that. And question 2, I will pretty much after the stream is done today. I didn't get it done yesterday when I wanted to, so it's gonna be done today. I had some issues uploading it to YouTube to begin with, but it should be coming up soon. Penta trying to hold control of Habu. Habu is going to go underneath inside the forest. Or maybe they're just going to crash. Are they? Oh, no. They're sitting themselves. There's a bit of a ridge down here that they can sit on. But they're still not inside. So this is going to be a dangerous push for them. They're pretty much forcing themselves to make a full-on push onto Penta now. You see both Udyr and Kaint. They're going to drive down to the lower plateau with the glass house. They did not want to take a fight there. Loot Goblins and G2 continuously trying to fight over who's the bigger Robin Hood. Team 1 got eliminated, but that's not Team 1. That's just, I don't know. Can't really see who's who in this when it comes to team numbers, because before they used to have like 1, 2 on the people, but they don't have that anymore. So now it's just really hard to keep track of, unless if you see what goes on. And up here we can't really see exactly who's where. Steven wants to make a run in, not gonna happen. G2 falls out in 15th, I believe. Yeah, 15th. Now with this circle, we don't have to pause. We can just slow it down a little. This circle is interesting for 2 reasons. 1, the map doesn't really show you everything there is to work with. 2, there isn't a lot to work with. You have a ridge line here that kind of, like, this is an uphill thing. And then over here, you can kind of sense it, a bit of a dip down here into the open. Like, this is an open area. And then you have the same sort of a bit running up, kind of up in this direction. So for a team like Loot Goblins, who has to, well, somehow do magic, they bailed their vehicles way over here in the forest. They haven't brought them with them. So they need to make a run. It's going to be miles out in the open. And their best bet right now is to exactly do what they're doing. Wait for the teams. I mean, you have 2 options here. You cannot. This is the interesting part. You cannot do the middle thing either. You have your vehicles. You go in on the edge early, and you sit there and try and contain everyone coming from the outside. That's option 1. Option 2 is you let everyone else get in. Hopefully for them, they'll be fighting all their way in because other teams are in there as well, and then they'll be down to low player count, and then you can potentially take them out or sneak behind them, something like that. Sorry. But for Loot Goblins, I'm not sure exactly what their plan is. They cannot push out in the open. The forest ends, well, pretty much on the circle, and 3D Max will be waiting for them. Of course, 3D Max, they have to push in themselves. So I think Bjorn is doing the smart thing. Well, now it's probably just going down to check the crate, but they pretty much have to come in here. But the question is going to be when they should push in. So we'll try and speed it back up again. Still had Fake and Moleman sitting up north. Psycho Boris are fighting the guys from NIP. And it's just kind of a matter of figuring out when to go and where to go. Abu inevitably fighting with Penta, and they're all stalling themselves. That's the issue right now. They're taking a fight miles out in the circle, and they all have to get in. So whatever is alive after this fight will probably be taken out by the guys from Legit Default. We'll have to wait and see. The entirety of what's their team name? Frescoes make their way over towards the garage area. Luxno tries to get in. Ultrastar is already down. Now he goes for the dip right here, like you have the ridge line right here where he can prone, at least for now, but it's not going to last him for very long. Kaint drives up inside the circle. The guys from Loot Goblins try to utilize this, and now we get to the issue where you have 4 teams trying to make it in from the south, and there's really only one team to contain them. They cannot kill 4 teams, obviously. A little help from FaZe coming in here, but it's going to be real tricky. I mean, this is just going to be a clusterfuck, honestly. This is going to be extremely tricky for, well, all these teams on the south. And you really have to keep it cool. This is where clear comms come into picture, because there's just way too many targets to shoot at the same time. Habu, they're in issues. Penta tries to make their way in. Got just one guy left on 3D Max. FaZe, they're just sitting and enjoying every second of this. Circle goes once again up towards the guys from FaZe and Luxno. And again, you do have a bit of a ridge down here with some trees and stuff, so it's not completely open, but it's I would say pretty hard to play around. And again, of course, out there, guys, if you have any questions, do let me know. I'll try to answer them. Or find someone who can. 3D Max goes out. Braxco all by himself now. And for Loot Goblins, I mean, and for Legit Default for that sake, there's been a lot of stuff going on, so being able to sort of get the clear view on the kill feed is pretty tricky. So I'm not sure that they're even aware that there's still a guy remaining from Penta. But now 3v4, Braxco is probably going to try and crawl around this way when he sees them start fighting. 2 guys down really quickly. Timber goes down. That's unfortunate. He got down one more though. And now in a 2v1, let's see. Can they do something? Trying to go for the flushes. Might be able to get the rest. Oh, Braxco, are you going to do it? Are you going to be that guy? Luxno goes down. Hamster goes down as well. So now I'd say, oh, I'll get the rest up. We'll look at Braxco down here. He's a sneaky player. One more down. He gets the kill on one, and then Lux comes. Braxco comes in and gets the finish off. That's just rude. So a lot of teams eliminated. Looks like Loot Goblins went out in 8th place. NIP went out in 7th. So what do we have? We have a 4-man team in team 1. We got a solo, 4 solos, and another 4-man team. That's interesting. We got 6 teams remaining, 4 solos and 2 4-man teams. The 4-man teams have the compounds, and the 2 solos. I don't know. You tell me. That's one of the type of questions that I want you guys to think about, Taylor. But I'm gonna say infinite. That's probably my best bet. Smart from FaZe to push up and take control on the hill. I mean, they're sitting on like 80% of the. They pretty much sit on 100% of the circle right now. There's nowhere that anyone can push in that FaZe won't see before they get to the circle. HC realizes this, comes up to go for the help as well. Smart play coming from him. Miguel goes down. That's gonna be Fresco's out in, I believe, 6th place. Yeah, this is gonna be really hard for any team that's not FaZe to win. As soon as the guys from 1 are on the other side of this broken wall, they won't have a whole lot to do. You see, now they're trying to make the push out. They're sitting in the garage. They're trying to get the angle up forward. They need a knock. If they can get 2 knocks, onto face, they could be able to do something with this. Braxco has to push forward. Now he's taking a vehicle. That's optimistic. Sending it forward, takes damage. Once again, he's probably going to go down. There you go. He's going to be eliminated. Squeaky goes down. Still 3 guys up, though, on their team. And look at the solos up here in the northern side. Still got 2 guys up. Yeah, face it. They're just the kind of team that would go out and win this. Mullen man just chilling inside his 1-story. 3 kills sitting right outside. 2 solos just trying to get themselves a bit of placement. Face wipes 1 team. Odds are they'll wipe the next one too. Mullen man just sitting and trying to tank. Realizing that he's not gonna win this. 3 kill goes down. Mullen man, is he gonna die to the circle? Or is he just AFK? Wow. Those awesome circles. There you go. Face wins the game. Team 6. Oh, we didn't even get to see the scoreboard. Oh well. Oh, that's too soon. Too fast. Okay, so that was game 1. Interesting. Eastern Circle's face actually made an interesting push. You saw in the beginning, even though the circle was kind of south, they got inside the circle, drove further up top, and came in from the top, and that pretty much gave them the victory in the sense that that they were sat at the compound that won them. Like, that was in for like 4 circles in a row. So pretty smart position at that. I'm just gonna let me just take a short break. I just gotta go pee pee. I can do this. Ah, be right back. I'll put on some music for you while you're waiting. New team logo, toilet break. Yeah, exactly. Oh, there you go. No more toilet breaks. No more music. There we are. There. New team logo, toilet break. Nope, new plane. Pretty, wait, can I Undo. Pen size. Screenshots. Eraser. Okay. So, game 1 in the books, phase 1. Not a surprise with the position they had and the fact there were still 4 guys alive until late stage. Before we talked about Milta being open, Novo being open, well, Sargi, but as I say that, nobody goes Sargi. Looks like a free kill, and their team actually do. Let's see. Let's see what happens in a game, a number 2 final EU game on Rankle. Play. We'll speed it up a little. There you go. Any surprises as far as drop spawns go? It's a restart? Oh, I did notice that yesterday. I actually did notice that when we were joining the lobbies for Bravo, it had like, it said GLL Alpha Remake something. Why was it remade? Do you know? Some might say that the circle is a bit big. Yeah. You do got a valid point. The entirety of Military Island and a pretty vast majority of the southern side of the main island. Let's see, does it get remade? Doses in. Yeah, it's remade, okay. Restart is also delayed. Oh yeah, well, I just scrolled up and found it here. Oh, did it remake twice? Okay, this should be the live game then, right? Okay. There you go. So, instead of this plane, we get this plane. That's, I guess, equally fair, so no really... Omega Lul admins, what are you doing, man? So plane as fair for everyone in the game. Surprised to see that Sarki is a thing now, but I guess that works since you have both the newly added compound and 1.5 loot. I guess that just makes it a little more viable at least. But no, 3D Max goes to North George. It's like a Boris that's sitting up here as well. NIP looting south. And then you have G2 right underneath them. And that's actually kind of interesting because everything considered. And I've talked about this with G2 and Knights when they were playing on Miramar as well. How sometimes, despite the fact that teams are sitting really close to one another, it doesn't really matter. Now we saw some shots fired down towards, I believe, I cannot really see it. It looks like Gaxi, I can see that. But the thing is, as you just have to keep it in mind, as long as you know, because there's no reason either for G2 to try and push down towards Georgia Paul. They have Wacko looting the yellows. They have Veland looting the garage compound. There's no reason for them to push down, so they're gonna mind their business. And then once we get into the later stage of the game, which would be, well, for here, the first rotation, you just have to bear in mind, if we do rotate, or when we do rotate, we gotta make sure whether we rotate late or early, because technically you can say, oh, G2 always rotate at this exact time. Well, this game could be different. You just gotta keep in mind, let's not go straight over Hospital Hill, because odds are there'll be people sitting there ready to take us out. So even though it looks clumsy and really clustered up here, more often than not, you actually see it work out anyway. Team 1, they're going Kameski, probably not too happy with the circle. GM team loots Milta. That's what we were just talking about before. No Vitality, no Moonwolf. Harbor will go down south. I was gonna say it's gonna be interesting to see whether Harbor will send all the guys down south now they see the circle, or if they want, and they actually want, Nugi and Tixu, they're gonna loot further up for 2 reasons. One thing being, or 3 reasons actually. One reason being, well, I mean, as good a place to loot as Primorsk is, which I don't really think it is, then you will run into each other and there could be issues with that. A second thing, I mean, they have room to do it. And third thing, now they won't have to rotate as far, which means they can go later because they're already further in. I mean, considering the fact that they know where the circle is, right? So when they're sitting far down here, you might want to say, oh, we have to move up somewhat early because we want to get all the way up here and take a center compound, whichever position they'd want to play from. But now that they have Tixu up here, I mean, he can technically send him that much later, like the same distance as the time would be in the rotation to come up from Primorsk to where he is now. That much later, he can rotate in if he wanted to. So they'll get some more time to loot. It's gonna be a little more scattered with the compounds and all, but should be worthwhile nonetheless. And again, if you guys have any comments or anything, this is kind of thing, because we've been doing this for every week for GLL so far. And well, I'm just doing the same thing I am every week, in the sense that I'm watching what happens, and of course know some stuff about the teams already, and then we talk about it. But if you guys have anything that you think, oh, Toby, you should consider doing this, or changing this, or this could be cool, or whatever, let me know, and we'll add it to the list of 10 billion PUBG related things I'm doing lately. But this is something I could see could be nice. I would hope for GLL Season 4 that I can get like official GLL channel access and then do it from there. So Wacko goes really far down south, actually. Surprising. Officially, Bjorn is sitting right next to him. Gonna be interesting to see when fights potentially will unfold in that area of the map. Wacko taking some shots, realizing, holy cow, Tixu is here already. Or Habu is here already. And now he has to come back up north, and NBS is actually already down in Antenna. So, because he decided to rotate that far south, the positions that he would have wanted further up north aren't going to be available. Hijacker. Or Hijack Edris. Thank you so much for the follow. Everybody else rotating on in. Face, they're most likely going south, I would assume. They've done that normally. I would be surprised to see them go north of Pachinki, but you never know. Looks like that's actually what they're... No. Never mind. They're going south. Because now you would assume, right? Now you would assume that since you had an eastern circle before, and the military team went around the west bridge, then you would assume they would do the same thing here, right? But no, that's not going to happen, at least most likely not, because there's so much more room to sort of do your own thing and mind your own business here. But if it had to fit with the schedule or with the system that we saw before, Singularity would have to come around the other bridge. But that wouldn't be wise at all, because you know how many Eastern teams there are, and there's only so much room inside the circle. I mean, you have a position up here you can play from, you can take the compound. There are some spots down in the forest you can sit in, and then you can sit on the, like where Braxco is sitting on the hill in the forest right here. But that's pretty much the only, you cannot really sit on the edge anywhere. I mean, if this position is already taken, you're forced to just send it through the field. And that's not something teams like to do, especially not if there are people shooting at them at the same time. Fighting happening north of what's that? North of Cube. Looks like Liquid took control of Everest. They'll be sitting up there. A lot of teams going center. Look at this. It's just so interesting to see all these teams. Just they're sitting, all these teams, how close they are in the first circle. They could probably fit in circle 3, but they all really, really, really want to sit center, so they don't have to rotate that far for circle 2. For a team just sitting quarry or north, I mean, of course you're going to be completely screwed if you don't get the next circle, but sometimes that chance is probably better to take than try and force your way inside a position. Look at, I mean, GMC is sitting dead center right now, but his entire team is up on Everest. Not a lot of options as far as help from his teammates. He's sitting in double yellows, I believe. Yeah, it is. See, Samsy is trying to get a position from which he can assist his teammates, but with everyone being center, you have such a big gap up on the northern side and a huge gap on the southern side where you don't really have anybody either. And eastern side too. I mean, everybody wants to come in, get a good position so that they, with the next circle, because it's two things. One thing is you want to be center so you don't have to go far. Another thing is by being center and sitting there, you can look at the other compounds and try and figure out, okay, what's taken already and what will be available in the circles to come. So Gonna be interesting to see how exactly that's gonna be impacting. Will the East like centers, if we got an edge circle, will these center teams be able to utilize the fact that they know where they have teams around them, or will they be forced to simply say, we know where they are, but there's no room to rotate because we decided to go dead center. Now we have to rotate out, and we'll have to kind of sort of wait our turn before we can go, because we don't want to run through 6 teams. 3D Max now going down, same compound as Liquid. Of course, we cannot see just exactly what's happening, but they are there nonetheless in the double whites and barn type compound up there. Singularity, they went, oh my, wow. That's a horrible circle. Team 1, they'll be having an easy look at the vehicles. I mean, everybody's in vehicles right now. Wow. This is going to be chaotic. That's for sure. Not going. Look at the amount of vehicles. Can we get one? I'm counting 46 vehicles. 46 vehicles trying to make rotations at the same time. Wow. 46 vehicles rotating at the same time. And there's just not any room for these guys to go into. There's not room for these people at all. Liquid, fortunately, already inside. They'll be doing everything they can to hold people away. Aren't 8. What does that mean? Oh. Yeah, I know. There are some things about those settings that I don't really like either, but I mean, that's just how it is. For example, the whole water thing. But I mean, I talked to Martin or Avenger about it, and apparently, I mean, I haven't talked to the PUBG developers, but I assume that he has when they came up with the system. Apparently, you can only say, like, it has to go for that. You cannot do like max to minimum. It has to go for the specific number. So if you say 0.7 water, then it will try to always have 0.7 water. It won't say at the most or something. It will say it has to be 0.7 water, if you know what I mean. Which is unfortunate. But I hope they'll figure out a way around that. It could be nice if you had like a max minimum. Like they can be... And minimum should just be 0. But like I have a max amount of water in each circle. That would make sense. So you don't have to go for any set specific water percentage, but you can just say it cannot include more than, and then put it up like that. So all these teams fighting, somehow they all found a place to go. That's actually kind of impressive. Well, I mean, North George or South George, I mean, obviously not taken. So if Circle should push up there, it's going to be interesting, because the teams that are sitting around here, they're going to be satisfied with their positions, and all the other teams will have to either go straight through or around to get up there. But yeah, I know it's a little weird. It is a little weird. For a team like Penta sitting on the far southern side, I mean, they just have to accept where they are right now and deal with it. I mean, then PUBG, why you do this? Why you do this? Wow. Nah, that wouldn't be good either. Nice circle setting, a circle. Just Cameraman. They made this last week. They even made it work where they put all these things over on the right side so that we can see the video. Map feed responsible person. Just drag this thing over on the right side and show us what's going on. Is it gonna be the same way for the remaining? That's dumb. We have to fast forward to here. So anyway, a lot of people died, obviously. Liquid actually managing to go 2-2 split now. Everything considered, that's pretty ballsy. Some teams were forced into Georgia Pool, obviously. And yeah, it would have been a great circle for the old water meta, for sure. There would have been like 16 teams in the water. No, nobody on land. We have all of FaZe, they're sitting in hospital. Let me just grab a bite here. Havu, they're on the south alongside, I believe. Yeah, both G2 and Diamond Dogs. I made noodles the other day. They're still good. Calvin, he's dead center. Hoping for the next circle to go his way. Circle pups. FaZe are out. Golden Mensa and Frescoes are out. Harbour will have to push further forward, but they can technically play from the beach. There's a bit of a ridge line here that they can sit around. I was gonna say, but their only threat really is going to be Elgiganten. Golden Mensa and Frescoes go out. Harbour's main threat right now, because they have a ridge line that goes, like, it blocks vision from the other side of the road. But there's a pretty clear vision down here. If they can take the vehicles and park them like this, or like, what do you say, perpendicular? Is that what you say? To the beach, or to the road, so that they will block off this angle, and you maybe use some smokes too. All they really have to do is worry about what's up here, because if they can take out these guys, then they should be able to push across. Because I don't think, are you able to? No, I think the bump around here is too big so that you cannot see the road down here, but I'm not sure exactly. I have to go into the game and take a look at that at some point. Now Timmy, and looks like I don't know, one of the other teammates. I just had a brain fart there for a second. Texu, sorry, made their way up towards a further up position. And right now, this is not really analysis in that sense. I'm sorry, guys, but it's just the things that are going on right now are somewhat uncoordinated. I like that Timmy is actually going back. Is he going back to pick up another teammate? I think he might be. He dropped off Tixu well inside the circle. Now he goes back to try and play this out in position to help out his teammates. One guy goes down. Squeaky gets the knock onto him. Or also Star. It's gotta be. Calvin is still proning inside the center of the circle. You got two teams within the same compound here. Abu, they need for Tixu to do something here. Either he has to attract attention from Elgiganten so that the guys can cut across, or he has to shoot down towards Diamond Dogs so that they can push up here. I mean, from his position, he could just lay low, but the fact that he's not inside the new circle, it's gonna make it extremely tough for him to do anything. Unfortunately, Calvin goes down. The dead center position is no more. This team will get eliminated. Now, Liquid, they have joined forces. They want to push up together. They have a bit of a ridge behind the building here, but everything up here is, well, pretty open. There's a hillside, but you have like a big valley type thing down here, if I'm not remembering wrong. So Liquid see that there's a fight happening. They decide to try a third party, but now they're split off from their team. They decide to go back again. Tixu is knocked already. Noki, I believe, is all by himself. Yep, there you go. Habu gets eliminated. FaZe, they wanted to third party this. They saw that NIP was fighting against I think it might have been, I couldn't really see. But Vard got that position nonetheless. And now they're just sitting on the edge of the hospital hill. They're trying to take control. 2-2 split, smart. That they don't full on commit to the same one position, but they're split up. 14 eliminated. That's Bruxel and the guys. And then you have Diamond Dogs eliminated as well. James goes down. El Giganten sitting very, very comfortably inside their compound. Vard sitting out in the shack trying to stay alive. Samty, all that's left now for Liquid. They had a rough position, a rough push up there. Hamster got the finish onto Ibiza. And again, for FaZe, I mean, they're playing this really smart. They're sitting on the edge. They're kind of avoiding. FaZe are doing, I mean, they're avoiding. They're utilizing, and I keep using that word, but they're really playing off of the fact that they still have 4 guys alive. So they say there's no reason for us to try and push in early to take a fight, and then, well, potentially get fucked over because there are like 6 teams shooting, and we cannot keep track of where all these 6 teams are shooting at us from. And even if we can, odds are that there's going to be an angle or 2 from which they can shoot at us anyway, so that's not going to work. So even though they are high in numbers, they stay back, they don't engage. They'll probably take a third-party shot every now and again, but they'll stay back. They'll let all the other teams fight each other off, so that instead of joining in a fight that's 3v3 and then FaZe being the the 4-man team coming in, now all of a sudden it's a 1-man team. It's one solos, duos. I mean, those are the teams they're going up against instead of going into a chaotic 12-person 3-team fight. I mean, that's pretty smart in that sense of what they're doing. So Vard all by himself. El Giganten still 4 guys up. They haven't really been forced to do anything. And now they've reached a point phase at which they can start taking those aggressive angles. So you see FaZe, they normally, I mean not normally, but they don't oftentimes come into the later games with that many kills. They'll probably go into circle 3 or 4 sometimes without any kills at all. And then they still come out with 20, or maybe not 20, but like 15 kill games, because now they're in the cleanup phase, and because there are still 4 guys alive, they can take those fights. Where had they just maybe just been 3 guys up, or even a duo, had they been fewer in numbers than 4, then they wouldn't have been able to aggressively push those third-party fights and all that stuff. But they are allowed to because they managed to keep all their 4 guys alive. So really smart in that sense from FaZe. Empty breaks a run forward. Max is spotted him, I believe. Not quite sure. Now 3D Max and Loot Goblins have to leave. And there's really not any specific thing you can do here. Had you been alone, you could have run off and tried to take make a run for it. But because they have 2 teams in the compound, they just stumble over each other and you see both of them getting eliminated. There's Samty continuously trying to make his way forward. He's probably going to go out at some point soon. Tanking a lot of blue. Is Semty trying to hold, or Jemty trying to hold his ankle. Gets hit there. And there you go. It's gonna be Liquid out in 5th. Vard still inside the circle in his little shop building up there. We still have all of Legit Default alive in the northern side of the circle too. What is it with these compounds and being able to stay there for the entire game? It's kind of interesting. Now, if FaZe can sit, because FaZe have 1 threat right now. This entire building, I mean, you have a hill, and then it goes down here, and it goes down here, right? So if they sit up here on the northern side, they won't be visible to El Giganten. So I like the fact that Jemty is clearing the south side, but if they can control Legit Default and sit themselves up here, and if the next circle goes out from the compound, it's going to be extremely difficult for El Giganten to do anything, because they will have high ground up on the hill, and they'll just be able to pretty much shoot down at them as they'll be forced to run. But new circle closes in. Vard's still alive actually as well. I forgot about him for a second there. He's still up there, but he's been spotted now. He goes down. Now the push comes from Legit Default. 1 guy down, 2 guys down. have to see what happens here. Circle. Oh, well, you're still inside the compound, but not exactly the best position. Outside, the next one will indeed shift away. So face, they just have to contain. Elgigant, no. Savage goes down. Hookstar made it across, though now Fuzzface goes down. So 1-for-1 trade. Empty goes down as well. Nice shots coming in there. I think I can't really see the shots fired, but I mean, the fact that he took him down, that's going to be pretty well job, as people say. Ooh, face, they're falling apart now. Not what they would have wanted to have happen. In the meantime, legit default, spending some time getting the rests back up. Smart. Mexico's down. 8C's all by himself on the road now. HC gets the knock onto Hookstar. I think he just has a tree to hide behind, and that's not gonna last him any longer. So face out in third. And now Death's center circle. I mean, not a lot to it, pretty. Elgigant is playing pretty smart. They're splitting up. They're spreading out to take control. And they have the center position. So Pixel instantly taken down. And then Ostrelovax, I'm not sure how to say that, gets taken down as well. So Elgigant winning game number 2. That's interesting. And did you say that this game was remade as well, or no? Was game 3 also a remake? Or how was it? We'll just let it run. It'll come into the game anytime soon. 3 or 4 was remake. Okay. I'll just eat a little while we see the guys start the looting phase. Remember, Knights isn't here, so G2 has all the room in the world to loot. Circle goes center. Cabo and 3D Max sharing El Pozo. Hey, Boomer! Thanks for the resub, man. A month already, Boomer. Or 2 months make that. Thanks, man. Much appreciated. Aim. Or Iman Jr. Thank you for the follow. Now, in a circle like this, do not have to talk about rotations, because you can go in from I'm not even gonna draw them up. It's dead center. You can go wherever you want. All these teams are split looting. Pretty much all of them, and that's just how it is with Miramar these days. It's not really worth it to go inside cities anymore, so you might just want to split up and get your looting game going elsewhere. These guys have made a 3-way split. Diamond Dogs probably going down towards Impala. But for the sake of the teams that are currently center, I'm looking specifically at legit default, G2, and well, I mean, technically Singularity 2, but I don't think that's going to be that much of a thing. They have to figure out, first of all, how much time are we going to spend looting? Second of all, they have their positions right now. Do they want to go for something third? Or do they want to all go to one of the positions where they are now? Because we know that all these teams like to go center, and there's still 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 teams outside the circle. And they will have to, or they will try to make their way somewhere in here within the next 3 minutes. Probably somewhere in here. And obviously there's not going to be room for all of them. So the guys that are already inside, they do not want to get caught off by having a full team push onto a compound where there's one guy sitting. So you got to figure out, when you're one of these split teams, which position do we want to play from? Or should we now early on try and find a 5th position technically that's even better than the one that we have already? We'll have to see when they do decide to make that run. So circle's gonna start closing. Just about 15 seconds. In player time, that is, not our time, because we're fast forwarding. Liquid, I would imagine them to go up somewhere around here. You see teams already making a rotation forward. Nice mouse that we got there, by the way. Can we match? There you go. Either here or the southern compound, like one of the two dipped compounds, or maybe they could even go graveyard. I wouldn't assume that, but good to have. You see teams, he has the, like, there's a bit of a hill here that you can scout further forward, see what's available. Now he goes inside the vehicle again. I would assume either this compound or the compound here. Now he goes to the shack, tries to scout forward once again, goes into the vehicle again, and this is just what he's really good at. I mean, you want to make sure that those pushes you make are safe ones. So always scout ahead. Make sure that you're not taking any casualties in the early game, because as we talked about before with FaZe, you can only really take those fights, or you can only really play if you're an aggressive team, or if you like to have the opportunity to play aggressive. You can only really do that if you're yeah, well, I mean, if you're keeping all four guys alive throughout the early stage of the game. Everyone's rotating in, and IP is still looting and spread inside of San Martin. Diamond Dogs, smart safe rotation on the side. Huge rotation coming in from loot couplings as well down south. Surprised to see FaZe take this position. I would think that they go up towards San Martin because they know Knights aren't there. Normally, you have Knights and G2 kind of splitting this area with this compound included. And when there are two teams there, if you want to drive up this way, odds are you'll be taking shots from, well, if you're not 4, then 8 players. So now that they know Knights are gone, there are only 4 guys there. G2 rotates somewhat early. FaZe decides to go in. Normally we've seen them go either the north or actually all the way south around these type of circles. It will be interesting to see how they do now that they decided to smash it straight into San Martin. They start Pecado, then James goes up here on the hill. He scouts forward. And then he goes to the shack and scout forward. So here, here, here. And hi, Battlein. Kagdilla. Next circle. Okay, we'll see. And try and keep an eye on them, see what happens. Well, I mean, shots were fired all over the place. Shots are fired all over the place. They see a lot of vehicles rotating center. And Samty was driving, I think, on a bike right next to the compound. He didn't, most likely. Of course, we cannot see the end game. But he doesn't see any vehicles. I mean, there's no scouting here. There's no zero scouting. They're sitting here and they're rotating all the way around and then coming up here. So there's no scouting. You cannot see from here over here. So what they do is they drive with like all the cars next to them. He drives right next to the compound. He sees no cars. And he hears no shots. And he sees no open doors maybe. So they get in and take the compound instead. Wait, am I? How did I make the smaller? There you go. Yeah, exactly. No, they didn't scout this. I mean, they would. I mean, I don't know if you can say that you're scouting it when you're committing to a building, but they were all. You could kind of see that James was actually on his way further ahead. James was, because you have Samty driving here. James is driving here. So Samty turns around. Samty turns around to go inside the compound, and James continue. But as Samty turns around and says, "Guys, this compound is clear," James turns around as well, and they get the compound. So it's a good spot by Samty that it's open. Nice job. Loot goblins have not been inside a circle yet. They're still rotating from circle 1. Now they're finally making their way in. Hey Fabster. How you doing? Penta on the edge. Again, same thing with Penta last game really. Either they have to try and go in center now, get a position, which might not be possible. Potvor, thank you for the follow, man. Much appreciated. Which might not be possible, or they just have to say, you know, we'll scout a bit forward. Maybe take position on the hill over here. Maybe go around the northern side and see if we can scout further in. Because of course you want to be somewhat center, but they don't really have anything available. So odds are they might just have to stick around here, wait for the next circle, and then hope if it goes somewhat south that they can get a center position. I see. Yeah, exactly. I didn't watch them yesterday. As well. I was casting Bravo, so was in the center of the circle being soloed by. Yeah, exactly. But I don't know, Battling. I didn't see the games. Shh, no spoiling. But you can pretty much see when you have the center of the circle, right, where the majority of teams are, and then you have the edges, which are pretty. Well, yeah, pretty much clear. Penta did, as predicted, go over to see if they could scout further inside the circle. I'm hitting a lot of these today. When I say it, I think it would be smart for them to do this and that, and then they actually do it too. Preparation. Knowledge. It's okay, it's okay, it's okay. James gets taken down. Samty's over to the rescue. Fresco's not sure why they're not shooting at James and Samty. I would assume that they could spot them from there. Maybe they got other things happening. Hacienda circle. Huh. Interesting. So now, this is the thing, right? Look at the former circle. Center was here. This is where all the teams were. So you can pretty much draw a line here. Like if you draw a line where the center of the former circle was, then you will know that you have, let me just change the color real quick, that you have this entire area, not completely, but somewhat completely, to work with. Meaning that for a team in Penta, Loot Goblins, you can see the guys 3D Max as well, they're also going to be making their way down on the southern side. You do not want to come through here, because this right here is no. You do not want to go through here. There's simply too many teams. For the guys in Cold Mensa and company, they're probably trying to make their way underneath as well. They know for a fact that they have a Sagoboris sitting in this compound, so they'll probably do a big circle around trying to get in. And for the teams sitting on the northern side, they have to realize, okay, there's going to be teams that will be making this around rotation faster than us. So if we want to do that, we just have to do sort of the, well, queue kind of thing, like hold in line and wait. So if this team decides to go in, then this team can take their position, then this team can take their position. That's kind of the way you have to play it if you want to sit all the way up here. Whoops. Oh, we have to remove all those. Here. Only alternative really is for them to just go dead center. But of course, you do have the entirety of Singularity. So it's gonna be interesting to see what Diamond Dogs are planning on doing here. They go underneath. Long rotation now coming in from loot goblins. G2 crash dead center. So does NIP. Forcing themselves into a fight. Diamond Dogs actually go around the northern side. Smart play by them. 3 teams trying to make their way in. Penta now as well. It's alongside loot goblins trying to go in from underneath. This is just chaotic. Really chaotic. And that's the issue with Circle 4. It closes so damn fast. Or Circle 3, I mean. The closing time is so low that you sometimes you get caught off guard and like, fuck, we have to start rotating now. Ah! And then you're in a messed up position. So Penta take whatever is available inside the circle. Makes perfect sense. You still have the compound over here available. North side of San Martin is going to be open as well. But for a team like Loot Goblins, they have not had a position yet in this entire game where they've really been able to sit and scout forward. They've constantly been rotating. And now they're sitting on the edge in Circle 4, and it's not exactly going to be easy play for them to make here, no matter what happens. Circle goes north up towards the liquid compound that they, or liquid compound, the compound that Liquid took. Hacienda is still in as well. Elgiganten trying to hold off all the people coming from the south side. And this is, I mean, at this point, most of people have left their vehicles, right? So they'll be trying to do something. What you could do as a southern team, if you still have your vehicle, you could try and drive around. You probably don't want to drive through San Martin. That's like a big no-no. But if you're a team like Penta, they still have their vehicles down here. I keep doing this. They still have their vehicles down here, so they could potentially just drive around and crash a compound. I mean, it's safer than trying to run in on foot when you have all these teams that'll be shooting at you. Of course, they don't know this, but they should be aware that the south of the circle would be highly contested, considering how the last circle went down south. We'll have to see. Beyond goes down, so does Hamster. Not a whole lot more they can do. Timber tries to get in. He's gonna get inside of San Martin, but San Martin. But not sure exactly how he's planning on moving forward from there. Macan still has to make his run. Macan. Talsera up in the compound, but you already have the guys from Legit Default there. They're gonna be fighting. One goes down, one goes down. Fighting, fighting, fighting. And there you have it. That's gonna be Legit Default eliminated. 10th place for them. Abu has to come up with a plan here as well. They're sitting miles out on the edge, and it's really hard to scout anything from here. The only thing they can really see or hear is obviously all the shots fired. Oh my god, these circles. Liquid circles, by the way. This is what I'm saying. The first 2 games it happened as well. Game number 1, it went up on the Alamo that we had Face sitting in. Game number 2, it went out on the shoreline where we had Elkigat. Is there a thing that circles, they favor small compounds in this circle? Or in this patch? Maybe. I have to see if that's that also happens next game. Or if it goes in the open field. Because these circles have really been going towards the smaller compounds. Base eliminating one team. And again, still 4 guys live face. They haven't really fought up until this point. At least not that much. Vard all by himself. Habu, they need to figure out how they want to push. They could try and make their way underneath this compound. But as you see, they've been spotted already. Now they need to figure out how they want to continue on forward. Miguel and the guys, they have a dip down here, but they will be visible to Isaac-Boris. Elgiganten forced to go each side around Hacienda. Base now pushing up actually towards Singularity. Habu is up there as well. This could get clustered. Vard somehow managed to sneak his way inside of the circle. G2 eliminated out in, I didn't even notice. So Elgiganten, sorry for yawning. Elgiganten is forced into a split. Samty once again dead center. Base is forced into a split, not the kind of position you want to be in, because not only do we have Elgiganten, he also have Wacko, so for Fuzzface, if he wants to push down, it's gonna be extremely extremely tricky. We'll have to see though if he's able to pull that off. Do you guys want to see NA analysis as well? I was kind of thinking just to stick to EU today, mainly because I mean last time we spent 7 hours doing analysis on 8 games. That was a lot, I feel like. I hope you guys are enjoying it. I hope you guys are learning something from it, but do you want to do NA as well? I was kind of thinking just to stick to EU because I have a lot of other things I want to do today. So it's probably just gonna be EU analysis, and then we'll yeah, and then we'll do some other stuff for the remaining of the stream. Yeah, I know you say that, Battlein, but I just don't feel like I know enough about the teams. Habu tried to get in, couldn't really do anything. Elgiganten taken out. Wow, did Waco just took out the entirety of Elgiganten. Good job by him. Unfortunately, he goes down right after in 8th place. But good job nonetheless. I mean, single-handedly eliminating all the guys. Good shit, my friend. I hope, who knows, maybe if I don't get to cast the GLL finals, maybe I can be on an analyst desk. I feel like I can contribute a lot on an analyst desk. But I don't know. It's always like who wants to be the what do you mean? Like, well, how do you say it? The tournament person to take a chance on a new guy when there's so many. I mean, there's so many really, really good analyst desk people right now. Also with more players trying to make their way in as analysts, it's interesting. 8C, last remaining player for FaZe, wants to stay alive. Liquid 3 guys up. Solo, but all in brown, grayish colors or orange colors. Yeah, true. I mean, then you can analyze the game, like just like we do now. Watch the game, see what happens. That kind of analysis you could do, but of course, as you say, if you want to do like in depth with all the knowledge of teams and players and stuff, it can be complicated. Yeah, I agree. Circle goes miles out into the open, missed it, takes the vehicle down behind the hay bale, and yeah, if Liquid don't win this game, that would be a big yikes. The fact that FaZe is in the end game again. 3 games in top 3 and a victory in one of them, that's pretty impressive. Diamond Dogs as well, they've been doing really good lately. Winner, team 1. And then you said there was a remake. Let's see if that's the case. I don't see it being a remake. But this is NA, right? Yeah. I don't think there's a remake. Maybe they just didn't turn on the map stream when it was remade then. Yeah, okay, because we're not coming in before now, so they probably forgot to turn on the map stream when they had all the remakes and everything. Let me see. Give me 1 sec, guys. Not 1 Swedish krona, but 1 second. And maybe a few more than that. Not a whole lot to it right now, honestly. Circles north. That's a long message battle in. Okay, let's read it. And play for me and on the Series region, no except my previous team I've seen. Neither a lot of other teams to take position center by solo to roll many square on the edge of yeah, I understand what you say. But I don't know, honestly. I mean, one thing is that you know, because for me, when I, for example, when I cast EU games, in these types of games, of course, you never know where the circle will go. But according to where the circle goes, I think it's also why I'm more and more often can say, I think Diamond Dogs will do this, whatever, and then get it right. Because the more time you spend when you see the same teams over and over again, I mean, people are only people, and if something works one time, often they will try and do it again or something similar. So if we say, ooh, look at this, we have had much success trying to sit on the edge in circle 3 on their ankle, then they will do that for a while until they figure out that that's not working. And that's the same here. I mean, but I understand it's kind of like, my brother used to be, I can compare it with this. My brother used to be a professional poker player, and he told me that, he told me that the worst opponents, like the most difficult opponents he had ever played against in poker, were the people who didn't know how to play the game. And it sounds stupid because of how can it be difficult to play against a noob, but there's X amount of RNG both in poker and in PUBG with the circles and where they go and whatnot. Like, you can get screwed over by a circle, and it doesn't matter how good you are, you most likely won't win the game at least. But for teams like this, and he said his reasoning was that you cannot really get in their heads. You cannot figure out how they're thinking and what they want to do, because 9 out of 10 times they don't know themselves. And how can you know what a person is going to do if he doesn't know what he's going to do? You know what I mean? So if this guy is sitting, what shall we do? What shall we do? Okay, let's just drive over here. How can you ever predict that if he never does the same thing 2 times? Because he never knows what to do. So even though, and that's how, I mean, it's not at all against CIS region, but some of the teams in CIS, it just doesn't seem always so planned what they do. So I understand that for a team that's trying to stay at the top in CIS, because everybody can frag. I mean, everybody in these games, they can shoot, they can hit their targets. But it's the coordination, the rotations and all that stuff. And if you're up against people that you cannot do homework on, that will, it will always be a new lobby when you play, because the teams you play against, they play differently all the time. Like, they haven't found their core play style. And I think that's one of the main reasons in CIS especially. A lot of the teams are new teams, as far as I know. Like, they're new rosters. You said it yourself, many teams are still changing players and stuff. So they have not found their core. They have not found, ooh, this works for us. This is good, this is bad, this is good, this is bad. A team like FaZe now, with the exception of 8C, they've played around the same mentality and playstyle for such a long time that a team will know most likely what they're planning on doing. But that doesn't mean that they can kill them. They just know how they like to play. But they're really good at what they do, so it won't be easy to kill them just because of that. But other teams that don't know what their plan is, that haven't found their strategy and playstyle yet, it's just that much harder to predict them. And I think, as you said yourself, in CAS, like, you like to play EU more because there the teams are not predictable, but you know what to expect. And in CAS, I mean, it's like a fucking rolling dice. Not in a bad way. Not again, nothing against the CS and how they play and their skill set. It's just there's so many new teams, and when every week you play technically the same teams, but it's just new. Like they come in to the games trying to do new things. So it's a little interesting. That was a sidetrack. Sorry, but I hope it makes sense, Battlein. These are things that I want to talk about. Like, one thing is we can say, oh, look at this, Diamond Dogs, they're here. Oh, look at this, Mikas and the Team 1 are here. Oh, look at this, Isaac Boris, they're looting the same way they always loot. I could mention that 10,000 times and try to be clever and say, ooh, guys, love me, I'm smart. I can emphasize a billion times on why it's smart to have 2 guys in LSR and 2 guys to loot compounds, because there's only X amount of looting spots in LSR, and time consumption would be too bad for them to have 4 guys in there. But instead, I mean, those things that we just talked about there, that's really what it all comes down to. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you loot LSR 4 people, or if you loot military base 4 people, or if you loot Kumasera 1 guy and then you have 3 guys on the island. What matters are that, one thing, you have a plan. 2 things, synergy with you and your teammates. So, for example, say me and Battlein, we're on the same team. No, I'm not going PGL. Nope. I don't get hired for big jobs. I only do small stuff. Unfortunately, but that's just how it is. Say we're on the same team. Sometimes, I mean, you will have teams, especially in Counter-Strike. Counter-Strike is a good example. These players, they practice so much together. They play so much together that sometimes, for example, say we sit in Los Leones. Circle goes up here. I don't even have to say to Battlein what we want, what we should do. I don't even have to say, guys, let's go up here, because he will already know. It's like, it's not, what do you say, like telepathy, but because they've played together so many times, they just know what they're going to do right off the bat. And when you can eliminate those 5 to 10 seconds of saying, what should we do, all those things, if you can eliminate that, and that means that you can rotate 10 seconds earlier, those 10 seconds, more often than not, will be the difference in whether you get your center compound or not, because other teams, they'll be running in as well trying to get it. And, well, I mean, this is what it all comes down to. Whether you get the compounds or not is sometimes what decides if you win the game. I know, I do my homework, man. I spent probably, I don't know, 10 hours every day trying to analyze PUBG and play PUBG and talk to people in PUBG. Good, Battlein. Good for you. Then we're on the same path. We think the same. It's good. Now, anyway, let's continue with the game. But it's sometimes in PUBG you just see it. I mean, for example, if you have a team that rolls up to this compound, like they come from here, and another team comes from here. If this team that's driving from up here, they see that they hit the fence, they're going to back off. They're not going to commit to it. They're going to back off and drive away. But had they been down here when they came driving in, they would have been the one to drive off. And I'm not saying this is a perfect compound, but it's a matter of maybe 5 to 6 seconds in the difference of whether you got there first or didn't. That determines whether you, more often than not, get the compound or not. So every time that you can eliminate 5-6 seconds of your decision making, whether it means that it's one guy that says we're doing this and then you all have to do it, or it's something that you all come up with, the more time you can eliminate from the decision making and just agree on things, the better it is. And then it doesn't even matter if it's the best decision always. It's just the fact that you all agree on one thing, then it works. It doesn't matter if one guy gets the best idea in the world. If half the team is not doing what he wants them to do, then it's not going to work. But if you all say together, let's go here, and then they all do it, maybe it's on the edge of the circle, but they were all committed to it, so they go there together, and they, well, maybe win the game because of it. Smart rotation from Diamond Dogs, playing it safe over the top. They could easily just sit all the way up there. Penta coming in late, not really in a hurry though, so should be all good. All good in the hood. A lot of people dying. We cannot really see what's happening though. And again, I mean, there's so much room to rotate. You can just see it here. I mean, they're driving up all the way up on the wall, right? So, I mean, that just goes to show. Pretty straightforward rotation for again, just straight lining it all the way into the circle. Now NIP are getting fought. I'm not sure exactly why they have two guys sitting up on water treatment. That's not a place you'd normally have people being, but they do nonetheless. Managing to get the rest back up, should be able to make it out of there alive. Depending, of course, on how Miraku and NBS decide to assist their teammates. Penta going around here, they will be able to have made much room in the circle. Again, look at the center. So much room on the edges all the way around here. So much room to work with. So if the circle goes away, let's try and draw the center now. This is kind of the center. I know it's not a perfect circle, but let's just, as soon as the new circle pops, let's just try and pause it as soon as the new circle pops. We'll make it a bit bigger, damn it. But either way, this was the center, right? Kind of. Now you know, look at how much room we have to rotate. And then if we eliminate what we had in this circle and just keep it to what's in, it was something like this. So now you've got your new circle, which goes all the way around here. And you know that this area on the southern side is a big no-no. But the area up here is somewhat accessible. Or maybe you have to go a bit further, like up here somewhat. So for the teams that are out, you see Penta already making their rotation. They're going up in that direction. For Liquid and the guys, they will have to go up around here as well if they don't want to sit right here and try and scout forward. They do have Samty, Ibiza already in. But the issue with this circle is this area of the map right here. It's a big cliff. It's not even a hill. It's like a huge fucking mountain that you cannot really play around. Compound in the center, perfectly positioned. But for the teams that are sitting on the edges and outside, this is going to be interesting. How are they planning on pushing? Do they just go in step by step, or do they try to make it all the way around? Liquid already pushing in. They want to take this position, but it's not going to be open. Ibiza is going to take fire now. Most likely gets knocked. Okay, he doesn't. That's impressive. Manages to stay alive. Gets over to the next compound in the corner. But there's no way. I mean, one thing is that he's over there. That's good and all. Now he has a good position. But his teammates, they will have a really hard time getting to him because they have to drive by these guys once again, and shots will be fired if they do so. You see James is actually stopping there. He doesn't want to drive forward. For Penta, they want to go up over the top. Team 1, they want to do the exact same thing, just in the opposite direction. Zoom in, cameraman, please. Mr. Cameraman, bring me a zoom. That would be so nice, cause I can't see shit. But yeah, rotation phase is over. Now, silent phase, scouting phase, and then rotation phase again. You can kind of break any given circle of the game, on with the exception of the first one, because then you just jump out and loot, right? From one circle pops to another one pops. You have, in my opinion, 3 different phases you go through. Of course, new circle pops, rotation. That's gonna be the first thing that happens, right? Rotation phase immediately. Then you rotate, and then you find, I don't know, somewhere to go. You can fight for the compound, doesn't really matter. But when you're done rotating, then number 2 comes up. That's when you have to figure out what's happening around you. Like, you come in, you come out of your vehicles, jump up immediately, jump around, try and look what's up. So from rotation phase into, not scouting, but because it's not actively going out to scout, it's more like, well, we can call it recognition, not recognition, like recon. What is it? Recon. How do you say it? I'm just gonna say recon phase. So from rotation to recon, figure out what's around you, and then after that phase, you run into the, well, mostly the IGL, I would say, but whoever makes the decision on your team, reconnaissance. Yes, thank you. Reconnaissance phase, where you try to figure out what's happening around us, and this is before the new circle pops, right? This is before the new circle pops. So you rotate in, you get your place that you went for. Doesn't matter if it's the one in the dream spot, but you get your spot. You spread out. If it's one compound, of course, you sit inside the building, but you want to have vision in multiple angles. You do your reconnaissance to try and see if you can allocate other open compounds. You can see where other teams are. Just get as much info as you can. And then with that info, this has to happen before the next circle pops, and that's where it becomes important. With the info that you collect in the reconnaissance phase, you make a decision. For example, let's say we are NIP right now. They're sitting up here. They have a good vision. I'm not sure if they can see the compound over here, but they have pretty good vision from here. So they've decided, they had teammates sitting down here earlier. New circle popped, boom, they went up here. Now they're here. They're spreading out. They're not just all sitting in one same building. They're trying to get as much info as they can in all directions. Even out here, you can see like the small arrow there looking out in this direction. So they're getting as much info as they can. Now with that info, before the new circle pops, with all this info, they figure out, okay guys, if the circle goes north, what can we see? How can we do it? And then maybe Miraku, or whoever, I cannot see who it is, will say, oh, we can swip around this way because we don't see anyone down here. Good to know. Guys, if the circle goes down here, what do? Oh, we can just go underneath because we had this compound before. We can see the team took it, but we should be able to get up here before they do. And this compound won't be able to shoot us if we're here. Okay. Guys, if the circle goes far north, what do? Yikes, that's going to be a tricky one. We're not quite sure because we can only see over here. So we'll have to maybe play around the compound we knew was open down here, and then we can scout further forward. That's an option. But because you have made all these, not decisions, but you have figured all these things out, and that's kind of what's going through the in-game leader's head, right? Because you have had all this happen, then as soon as it goes boom, or boom, or boom, whatever happens, they're already rotating. Because they know, they've discussed it, they know what they have for options and what they have to do in order to in order to deliver on those options, like in order to execute is the word I was looking for, those different possibilities. And that's why you see, again, like we talked about before when I talked to Battle-In, that's why you see just the small sliver of time that you can eliminate, because if these two teams rotate for this position at the same time, let's say Singularity isn't here. If these two teams both scout this compound over here and they want it, if a team rotates 5 seconds before the other, they will be here by the time that they're down here, and there's no way in hell that these guys are going to commit to that push then, especially not if they see them driving in front of them up to the position. So, 3 phases. Rotation, reconnaissance, decision making, boom, new circle pops, and then you go back to rotation. Like, it just loops then, right? Of course, you have to fight teams, but even though you're fighting, you still have to worry about, okay, what are we gonna do here? Because we'll have to see what happens. So circle is already closing in. It's gonna be interesting to see how NIP is gonna play off of this. Now you see shots were just fired up towards, I think it was Miguel, from Frescoes, who took a shot. We'll see what they decide to do. So now they're pushing a bit forward, not knowing where the next circle will go. They have their vehicles down here, so even if they push up here to take control of, or to try and engage in a fight with Frescoes, they still have that info to work off. They do have safe vehicles back in water treatment. Vard comes up, gets a knock, and now they have to figure. They get a knock on a guy, right? Do they want to full-on commit to the fight? They've probably seen there was only 2 or 3 guys in the building. They're still 4 guys strong. Do they want to full-on commit to the fight, or do they just want to get the knock, back off, and work off the info that they have? Looks like they're committed to the fight. At least Gaxi and Vard, they're pushing down. Now new circle pops, and they immediately have to figure out what they want to do. Miguel, he's already on the run. He's probably going to be able to go inside the barn. And you saw how fast the guys from Elgiganten rotated as well. Use the info that you have around you. Let's just go back a little bit. So as soon... Elgiganten, they're scouting all over the place. They can even see NIP up here probably. And as soon as they see them leave this area and go up towards the guys in from Frescoes, look at what happens as soon as the new circle pops. Look at what these guys do, how prepared they are when the new circle pops. They're already inside their vehicles. You want to get them going already, because if the next circle goes back south, they can just turn around. Don't be late, always be early on the rotation. In the sense that you want to start moving. Boom, new circle goes. They're already halfway there. They're already halfway to the point that they wanted to get to. Had the circle went far down south, it would have been no problem for Stars just to turn around and go back to where they were before. But because they know that this entire area is clear, they've scouted it, and that NIP is currently fighting the only other team really that could be contesting the compound they want to get, because they know that they're right now in a fight. They say, you know what, let's go take this before they get a chance to. Meow. Stars drives up. Stops here, gets a little bit of scouting done. Now they're continuing down. And they get themselves a position. And then they're fighting. But I mean, you know what I mean? That's just the essence of what I was trying to say. It doesn't matter what happens with the fight they engage in now. But really smart. Same thing with Habu. Coming around the backside. Now they're trying to scout forward, go down, and they take this position. It's open, so why not? That's what you see the top teams do, and that's what, if you're a player that try to progress with your team, or as a solo guy, if you want to be IGL for your team, or even the guys that aren't the ones making the decisions, it helps the team's overall, not thought process, but it helps the overall, what can you say, performance, I guess, in the end, knowledge of the team. Because I mean, it sounds super cheesy, but you're only as good as your weakest player, right? If you have a guy that's constantly fucking up, that's gonna fuck you up as well. I mean, right? So that's just how it is. Yeah, I don't know, Fabster. I like to do these things live. I could record them and put them in, but who wants to sit and watch through like a 2-hour video of me talking over a game with an active chat? It's just, I've been thinking about doing stuff like this, but I don't know how it should be done. I could just directly clip and upload this to YouTube, but I don't think anybody would want to sit and watch through 2 hours of video. And also, since it's GLL stuff that's in the background, I would have to get their consent and be allowed to upload their stuff to YouTube without getting copyright thought and all that stuff. For a live thing where I can talk to you guys, I think this is perfect, because I mean, I probably learn more than you guys do from this. I feel like I learn something every time I see, that's not always something I mention. But every time, for example, now, I was surprised to see NIP engaging in that fight. But honestly, one of the reasons they could have done that is just because of NBS. Simply because of NBS. They have changed their playstyle after he came in. I talked with Dofus about that when we were doing the podcast on Tuesday as well. It's not because the entirety of NIP or WTSG has been changed. It's just that right there, to me at least, is a decision made that I would not have I would not have ever seen them do when they were WTSG. But now with NBS in the mix, boom, they just commit to it, push on in, and they get the compound. Now they're sitting dead center. That to you guys might just be, oh, look at this, they got kills, that's nice. But you gotta think of, why did they push? How did they get in a position to be able to push the compound? And like, just think, like, try to put it into a bigger picture. Yeah, I could do that, Taylor. Maybe. But I don't know, then we're also pausing the games like now all the time to talk about a lot of other stuff. And then I don't know. I could do it, I guess. I don't know. I just feel like it would be not clumsy, but you know what I mean. I mean, believe me, I want to do it. It's just that I don't know how I could make it good enough, because we're living in a time where if you see a video that's more than 6 minutes long, then people will be cutting through it, and then if they come in the middle of this conversation that we had now, they might not get the full picture of what we're talking about. Just note down some stuff. It's on make a video. Yeah, that's also something I've been wondering. But right now I'm doing like 10 billion things at the same time. That's something I've been wanting to do, because even though we have a lot of YouTube content creators for PUBG, like we have Waggy Jackie, he's doing all the like whenever there's a new patch, he does all the this weapon does this damage and all those kind of things. The Scanoxy one. And you also have maybe you have a lot of people doing these sort of things. I think Moses, or what the fuck Moses, he did for a while kind of the same thing that Ragged Jagger was doing, but then he went from doing that over to more being guides to be better at the game sort of things. But I don't really feel like we have anyone that's doing it for competitive PUBG. And I guess what you could do actually, and I could do this with you guys as well. I wouldn't be talking to you, but you could watch in. I could say 3, 2, 1, now we're live. Welcome to Toby's how to rotate in PUBG video number 1. And then I would just talk, and then you guys could sit and watch, and you could write in the chat and all that stuff, but I wouldn't be, distracted. I wouldn't be paying attention to it. And then I would have like 3 or 4 examples ready, and then that could be done. Those type of things could be made videos, because then you could compact it too, so it wouldn't be all the extra talking, but it would strictly be relevant things. But again, I'm doing podcasts, I'm doing this, I'm casting, and now with both Awesome and PUBG Online coming up, hopefully I'm casting even more. I'm trying to also stream some games every now and then. There's just there's a lot happening. I've just made a full music score for a highlight video, or like caster, whatever YouTube video that I want to make. And at the same time, I'm trying to spend some time with my fiance, who I live with. I don't have time for everything. So if you guys out there think that you're like the best YouTube content creators in the world, feel free to let me know, and you can be in charge of all that stuff, and then I can pay you money for doing it. I don't know. I mean, I want to do all those things, but at the same time, I feel like I have to figure out what's, how do you say it? I have to prioritize my time first of all, and also figure out. One thing is that I want to do all this stuff for the community, for myself, but I also have to be realistic and say I need to pay my bills, and I also really fucking love PUBG. So I want to be like doing the big stuff in PUBG, but I need to figure out how to get that done. And even though I learn a lot and you guys learn a lot from this, I don't think that's the way for me to do it. I should be networking constantly with like big tournament organizer people, trying to see if I don't know, if I could become friends with them, if that's what I wanted to do. But I decided to spend time doing this instead because I learn a lot and I think it's important. I see sometimes, and it's no one specific, but sometimes you see like people doing analysis or casting stuff where they say something. This team likes to do that because they always do this. And then I'm just sitting like, have you even watched this team play ever? They never do this. They only did it because of whatever. And this is just a hypothetical thing. But sometimes it's just easy to see that people are not... Like, people will say things to sound clever, which it sounds clever, but it's just wrong. And I don't want to be that guy. So I feel like I need to do all the homework. But again, side notes, right? Yeah, again, not knowing stuff. Then just say Scoom plays for Liquid. I mean, that's fine. Nothing wrong in that. Don't have to try and tell them that he's an IGL when he's not. He's the captain. Captain and IGL, two very different things. Not always different, because the captain can be an IGL and the IGL can be captain, but it's not the same thing. Anyway, let's finish up this game and then we can talk more afterwards. So, NIP, they fought for position. It was center when they got it. Now, fortunately for them, circle shifts to them. But here you go, two teams pushing up. And fortunately, the fact that NIP got that fight ended quickly. When you're in the middle of a fight, when you're trying to, like, the fight ends, you have to spend, I would say, 30 seconds at least. That's if you're a good team, to sort of reset your thought process. You've just been through your entire Discord screaming, ah, there's a guy here, there's a guy there, there's a guy over here, shooting, boom, 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 one on your right, need a rest, all those things. You've just been through all that. Downtime, meds up, reload your weapons, get looted. You probably, if you're a good team, you can sort of reset in a minute's time, I would say, maybe 30 seconds. And fortunately for NIP, they did all that. And now you can see that they were even starting to look around again. And now Liquid and I think it's 3D Max. Yeah, it is 3D Max. They're coming in, both of them pushing their compound. So fortunately, NIP, they're ready for this fight. We'll see how it goes. As you can see, they're already ready. They're already going out, taking shots. Ibiza goes down instantly. And now, unfortunately, Habu already down on the foot of the hill. So again, smart rotations coming in from Diamond Dogs. You can just see their scouting. I mean, they're driving 4 guys to the exact same position. It's not a YOLO commitment. It's they know this area is free, and they will go up and they will take it. Smart playing coming from Diamond Dogs. Habu get across the street. Important for them because they know they have Singularity behind them, so it'll hold them at bay. Ooh, Liquid out in 14th. That's interesting. One more team got eliminated. I couldn't quite see who it was. Teams will have to make their way down the hill now. It's going to be interesting to see how that's going to unfold. Team 14, whoever you are, eliminated as well. I do this after every, like we always do GLL on Wednesdays, and on Thursdays I will, because I cast Bravo, so I don't get a chance to see the alpha games. So every Thursday, like the next day, I do this for alpha, so we can watch the games together. And I don't know if you want to take notes and stuff. I just do it for myself, but I mean, I've always been doing this. If there was 2 leagues playing in the same tournament or 2 divisions, I've always been watching the other one the next day or after I was done casting. I just figured might as well do it with you guys because that's nice. Hey Neo, how to see you, my friend. Nice. It was like, how are you doing, and nice to see you in the same sentence. How to see you. Nice to see you, buddy. Yeah, with your eyes. Exactly. Actually, I can't. I can only see your name. I do not know what you look like in person. Habu, they do not just want to push up straight. They, for 2 reasons. The entire compound can shoot up at them, and also if they push in, they will not only have to worry about down here, they also have to worry about this area. Hey, Fabster. Tusind tak, mate. That's also a song that we made on a Music Monday. We made a subscriber sound. We'll have to make a new one. It's a little annoying. I'm I'm getting annoyed with it already. That's not good. But when I had it for like a week and a half. Thank you so much for the sub, Fabster. Means a lot, man. This means that I can dedicate more time to doing stuff like this. That technically, you didn't hear the sound. Oh, feels bad. Did none of you hear the sound? Don't you guys hear this? Did you not hear that at all? Was that just muted for the entire time? Yeah, 11. We did game 1 and 2 already. We started 2 hours ago. You're a little late. Did you not hear anything? What? Give me 1 second. Huh, because I get it on my computer and my sound feed should go out to you guys. I'm not sure how that is. Let me just see here. There's a new version, blah blah blah, I don't care. I don't want to do this. Oh, I know why. No, it's down here. Followers has sound. Subscribers has sound. Yeah, I think it's because they've made a new version of the whole alert box thing. That's why it doesn't make sound. Huh. That's dumb. I can show you what the sound sounds like though. I mean, wait, we can all agree. You hear this music, right? Do you hear music right now? You're messing with me, aren't you? Sound? Speakers? I mean, I hear the sound in my headset from music. I see in my, what do you call it? OBS that the sound thingy is going up and down. What the fuck? Did I mute in OBS? No, I can see it go up and down. What if we... Okay, so I'm listening to some heavy metal right now. Are you guys not hearing any of this? Because according to my OBS, you are. Give me 1 second. Here. Sounds. Playing from speakers. Oh, it's low as fuck. What? This doesn't make any sense. I could see it came up, but it's like way low. I don't know if I dare do this because my ears will explode. This doesn't make any sense. Speakers? Yes. Yes. And then we go into here. Properties, speakers. If I just do this. Do you hear music now? There's music playing. Do you hear it? This is confusing. I don't know then. I do not know. Huh. What if we go on YouTube and play a song? Maybe it's just Spotify that's fucked. Song. I'll just YouTube song. Bruno Mars, Lazy Song. Do you hear anything? I hear this. Do you not hear it? Okay. Oh well. So much for PUBG working. Or not PUBG. Just stuff. I mean, fortunately, there's no sound on this video, so we don't really have to worry about that. But that's annoying. I'll have to look into that after we're done with this game. Huh. Because it shows on my feed that sound's being recorded. But I honestly don't know what's wrong. So you don't hear any of this music that I'm playing now. I can try and show you. It's gonna like do the crazy overlapping thing now, but I can try and show you the OBS. You can see it says sound here. It says that it's playing. When I'm talking, this one comes up. If I stop the music. Pause. Stop. Pause. Stop. I mean, it should be there. I don't know why it's not though. Yeah, yeah, exactly. We don't need it right now. Well, I'll restart the stream after this is done, and then we'll figure it out. So, back into the game. NIP, great position. Talked about them just before. And against Simsi, I mean, Diamond Dogs kind of do what we complimented FaZe for doing earlier. I'm not taking any fights. I don't even think they have any kills at this point, honestly. But sitting in a good position, we'll be able to engage in a fight if need be, because there's still 4 guys on the team. And again, they can afford to have Simsi split down now because they are 4 guys alive. So Simsi runs underneath. You have like the entire ridge line here that you can run behind and not really take any fire from the compound. It's always kind of interesting with Miramar maps, Miramar games, because most people don't know the exact topography of all these areas. But you have like a big hill down here, like going down in this direction, and then you have this, so they'll be pushing up towards the compound pretty much, and then you have a big ridge line on the other side here. So I think, yeah, 1 guy down from Diamond Dogs. So every day when I've been listening to music, you guys haven't been able to hear it, or maybe it's just today. I don't know. That's interesting though. Fresco's eliminated. Caned all by himself again. He's been that a lot. Noki alone as well. And the guys from NIP, they're playing really smart. Spread out, take control. Now they're, again, 4th time we see that in these games. Centers around small compounds. It doesn't go away from them. This is interesting. Diamond Dogs pushing back up to the shack. Up on this plateau where they have all these players sitting, it's gonna be, well, I mean, it's gonna be hard for them to push down. Fortunately, they don't have to, but you do have the open area down here that, I mean, either Team 1 has to push up top to take out Havu, or they have to push around the other side, because they cannot just run in the open here. It's gonna be pretty much suicidal. Diamond Dogs try to engage from the side. This is when Team 1 should rotate. You see them, they're all focusing over here now as well. Once NIP full on commits to 1 fight, get your butts in there. I mean, honestly, that's exactly when you have to move. Miga's already making the run forward. It looks like they're not really daring to make the push all the way. Also, I mean, you have these teams sitting on the top. They know for a fact that there are more players than that. They kind of just make the full-on YOLO push in. Now they realize that's not going to be an option to go up this way. Diamond Dogs pushing around the side, but now with the circle closing in, it's going to be tough to really do anything. Circle's continuously making its way in. Diamond Dogs now with some good shots down towards Driftly. Last remaining player. MC goes out. Lux and Tommel has to push on forward. Mika's down as well. Again, somewhat around the compound. The fact that legit default makes it to late game again, I mean, these guys have been doing pretty good at that in the in this week's games. That's pretty impressive. Haven't seen a lot from them, but getting top 5 yet again. Good job. Legit default, NBS, and NIP still 4 guys up. Be able to get the rest up. Yep, there you go. But Miraku now pushing out. This is smart. This is really smart. So they see the guys, they get Noki from 3D Max go down. They also see people get knocked up here, and now they're saying we don't really need this compound anymore. We can push out, we can take control, and they do a 2 split. Now they might just be caught off guard because if MPS gets spotted here by the guys from legit default, he isn't a 1v2. Gonna be interesting. He took shots now. Now they hear him. Ooh, nice shots coming in though, and that's gonna be a 3v1. Important that the guys took care of. Like had all these teams been in a fight at the same time, had they been fighting down here while the fight went down up here, it could have been could have ended very differently. But looks to me like, yep, the guys from NIP will win the final game. Good job, man. GG, well played.